Meross was on a roll in 2021 releasing several HomeKit compatible devices, and it looks like 2022 might continue in the same fashion. Hot out of the starting blocks is the Meross Smart Oil Diffuser that works with HomeKit. The Meross Smart Oil Diffuser features a wood-like finish and ambient ring light around the base that can produce 60 million colors. It works with HomeKit and is exposed as a humidifier and can hold up to 400 milliliters of water that can be used with or without natural essential oils. It retails for $59.99 US, and if you're watching this before the end of February 2022, there is a discount code in the description below. Now, Meross say that it's going to be available in the UK and Europe, and that should be by the end of February. So this is HomeKit Authority, and my name is John. This channel is dedicated to insights, reviews, and tutorials for everything HomeKit. So don't forget to check out the rest of the channel, and if you like what you see, it'd be greatly appreciated if you subscribe. Also, check out our social channels at Follow HomeKit on Twitter and Instagram. So first of all, starting with the design. The Meross device is split into two parts, with a base and an upper part. The entire unit stands at 9.7 inches tall, and at its widest is 6.6 inches. It's made of plastic with a wood-like finish. The base, which features a water reservoir that can hold 400 milliliters of water, and features a LED light underneath that helps illuminate the spout of the oil diffuser. It also has a ring light which goes around the outside of the device. Speaking of the upper part, this attaches to the base and the mist comes out of the top. On the front are two buttons to turn the light on and off and to control the diffuser mist. Underneath the base you'll find the power connector, HomeKit code, and elevated feet which make it easy to feed the power cable through. In terms of accessories, the oil diffuser comes with a plastic water jug which is 150 milliliters. You also get a 1 meter long cable which comes with a relevant country plug and instruction manual. Now let's look at setup and getting started with HomeKit. When setting up the device, I first plugged in the power cord and connected it to power. At this point, I didn't fill the water reservoir as the HomeKit setup code is in the base. Then setting up the Meross Smart Oil Diffuser is like any other HomeKit device. I opened up the OMAP and tapped Add Accessory. This will bring up the familiar HomeKit screen that lets you scan the HomeKit code. Then you just follow the process by adding it to the room, naming the device, and adding any suggestions for automations that come up. I then filled up the water reservoir to a safe line. As already mentioned though, the water reservoir holds 400 milliliters of water, so it will take 2.5 fills of the supplied water jug, and then you just simply add some essential oils if you choose to do so. So moving on to using the device. To operate the Meross Smart Diffuser, you have an option of using the Meross app, the OMAP, or the controls on the device itself. For this review, I did test all three methods for completeness. First, when using the physical buttons featured on the base, one is used to operate the mood light, and the other is the mist control. Pressing the light button turns on the light on and off, and it will cycle through some basic colors. If you press the button again, it will lock on the current color that it's selected on, and a long press will turn off the light. Turning to the mist button, which you can cycle through two modes. The first press will give you light spray mode, and pressing again will give you heavy mode. If you press for a third time, it will turn the diffuser off. Now looking at the Meross app, and as I found before, the Meross app is basic but functional and gives you control over the ambient light and mist settings. Firstly, tapping the image of the diffuser brings up a color wheel. However, unlike options you get in HomeKit, it only provides you a small number of color options. It also has a temperature light control, but this is just one warm option, which I don't think they fully exposed properly. You can also use the outer part of the wheel to control the brightness. Finally, the app also has a auto cycle toggle that will cycle through the color options. The bottom row of the controls gives you the option to turn the mist on and then activate either heavy mode or light spray. Now moving on to HomeKit control. It's worth pointing out at this stage that the Meross Smart Oil Diffuser is actually exposed to HomeKit as a humidifier. This is because HomeKit does not have a diffuser category within the framework. So firstly, starting in the OMAP, you'll be presented with a single tile, and pressing down on this will bring up the controls for the mist and light, but you can display these as separate tiles, and this is my personal preference with any device with multiple services offered. You can do this by scrolling down and tapping show as separate tiles. You will now find two tiles in HomeKit, one for the light and one for mist controls. For the light side of things, HomeKit treats the light like any other, so you can use the slider to adjust the brightness of the light or pick a new color. Unlike the Meross app, you do have more choice over color options and the ability to save preset colors. Turning to the mist control, and unlike the Meross app, the the OMAP does not have the ability to speed up the flow of the mist, and it will just turn on full speed regardless. This is because I've already mentioned the diffuser is exposed to HomeKit as a humidifier, so the slider allows you to increase anywhere between 0 to 100%. This means that the device will only activate if taken past the current level. So for example, if your room is sitting at 49% humidity, then you will need to slide the level to 50% to activate. But once it reaches 50%, it will then turn off, and this is because it's exposed to HomeKit, as I've already mentioned, as a humidifier, and it's reached its target level. However, what I did was push the slider all the way to 100% and use the on-off toggle. This not only made it easy to control, but also made sure the automations I created worked as expected, along with Siri voice commands. Now talking about HomeKit automations, so as long as you keep in mind that this is treated as a humidifier in HomeKit, then it's relatively easy to set up the automation, just let it run. I set the device to turn on every morning at 8:30 and evening at 18:30 to 100% humidity, and it ran for 1 hour. This automation allowed it to freshen up the room at these times, regardless of the humidity level in that room. Now, Siri commands work without any issue, but I would suggest shortening the name in order to activate it, or you'll be saying a very long phrase in order to get it to work. Now moving on to the performance. The device itself is relatively silent, but when you're close to it, you will hear droplets of water bubbling. One of the other things I like is that mist comes out is not hot, and neither is the water in the water reservoir. Although I want to point out I didn't expect anything different, but I wanted to point this out because if you've never used a diffuser before, then you will know this, and if you find that you've got small children or inquisitive pets and knock it over, then they're not going to get burnt by it. Meross states that the 400ml water reservoir will last for around 7.5 hours on heavy mode and 10 hours on light mode, and during my testing this lived up to the promises. The other cool feature is if the water runs out, it will turn off to prevent damage. So let's take a brief look at the Vocolinc flower bud versus the Meross Smart Oil Diffuser. Both devices pretty much offer the same functionality and are both exposed as humidifiers in HomeKit. The obvious difference is the design. The Meross is a smaller light and a wood finish, whereas the Vocolinc has a bigger light and is a white finish. The not so obvious differences is the Vocolinc only has a 300ml water tank versus the 400ml tank of the Meross device. In terms of control, the Meross has 2 speed settings, whereas the Vocolinc actually has 5 in the app, but none of these are exposed to HomeKit, so this may not make a big difference anyway. Although I originally praised the Vocolinc flower bud in my original review back in September 2020, the Vocolinc seems to have lost some of its performance over that time. So deciding between the two comes down to personal preference, and in terms of design, and the extra water capacity may sway you one way. But it's worth pointing out that Meross as a company has been rock solid in terms of customer service and bringing new products to the market, whereas Vocolinc appeared to disappear totally midway through 2021, with its website going totally offline and any products not being available on Amazon. But it would appear they are now back online, so only time will tell if they stick around. So my review summary: I like the design of the Meross Oil Diffuser, and I think it fits into most homes. It's easy to set up, with setup being completed in under 10 minutes from opening the box, and this for me is a genuine test for any device I buy. While the Meross app is not the best and the color options are limited compared to the OMAP, it does have the ability to control mist speed, which the OMAP lacks. But if I'm honest, I preferred using the Smart Oil Diffuser in the OMAP with automations. Although this is not a criticism of Meross at all, it would have been great to see Apple add diffusers as a category in HomeKit, and this would remove the need for using a workaround. So overall, it's a pretty good oil diffuser, and it's worked pretty well in my review period. It was easy to set up and get started, and it does a very good job at diffusing the room when it's turned on, and the water lasts as advertised. You can pick up this Smart Oil Diffuser from the company's website for $59.99, and it's available in the US. They are saying that it's going to be available in the UK and EU next month, and until the end of February you can get a discount of 15% off using code HomeKit Authority at checkout. Links in the description below. So that's a wrap on this review, and hopefully you found it useful, and if you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and also if you've liked what you've seen and you are into HomeKit, then it'd be greatly appreciated if you could subscribe to the channel and press the bell button. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.